How you doing, everybody? My name is Nestor Mendoza with The Mechanic OC. Thanks so much for watching. Today I'm bringing you guys an old classic, how to diagnose a p0171 code, which is a lean condition on this Nissan Juke. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you guys hit the like button and leave a comment. Let me know what you like about the video. What else you guys want to know about? If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I'll be answering all of those for you guys after we diagnose this check engine light. I have not done anything with the car, so this is from beginning to end, and I'll give you guys the biggest pointers on how to check a lean condition on this car. And then I will show you guys also how to sell a diagnostic, because a lot of times people will come in here and say, well, AutoZone will pull my code and tell me what's wrong for nothing. You're charging me $180 for a diagnostic fee? I will teach you how to go about the conversation you need to have with your customer to explain why you need to charge what you need to charge. Because at the end of the day, a lot of shops don't charge diagnostic fee, and that's when they get in trouble. Because they're not charging for their time, so they're not putting time into a car, and they're not getting an accurate diagnosis. So they'll just kind of recommend anything that's possible, and then that doesn't fix the problem, and the customer's mad because they still got to pay for it, but the problem isn't fixed. So you run into a whole bunch of issues. If you guys need help with any of that, I do consulting for auto repair shops. Hit me up, link in the description below to my email address and my website, automechanicclub.com. Let's get to it. Let's diagnose this. As always, we got the Innova Scanner 3130, link in the description below. This is a scanner I use pretty much every single day. It pretty much does everything I need it to do. It gives me a little bit of light data, monitors, and it gives me the check engine light, which is what I need. This one only has one code, a p0171, and it's a hard code, lean condition. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and check for fuel trims and then see what the fuel trims are doing. The fuel trims are the balance of air and fuel that the computer will set. So let's go ahead and link everything up here and then pull the live data, which is what you need to see if the lean condition is bad. So we have our short-term fuel trim here. It is at 22. Long-term fuel trim is at 21 positive. So that means we do have a lean condition, and it's happening right now. So we do have a huge vacuum leak somewhere. Normally when the fuel trims are positive like that, it means that there is a lean condition. And since it's happening right now and the long term is at 21, I'm pretty sure at idle, I'm pretty sure there's a vacuum leak. If the lean condition was at higher RPM, then that could be another issue. But as of right now, it looks like it's gonna be a vacuum leak at idle. Let me get this phone call, gentlemen and ladies, and I will get right back to you guys. Okay, one thing you are going to be needing to do this test is going to be a smoke machine. So if you guys don't have one, link in the description below to the one I use and one that's pretty cheap that I think you guys should pick up. If you guys are doing diagnosis, you need to have a smoke machine. I don't know how you guys do it when you have a lean condition and you don't have a smoke machine. You need one. I don't know how else to check it. I'm pretty sure there's other ways, but the way I do it is with a smoke machine. So tools you're going to be needing: a smoke machine and a bunch of different caps to plug up your intake system. So I already have the intake system plugged up here. I have a cone here, the yellow thing right there. So that is plugged up. I'm going to inject smoke through the intake using the purge valve entrance over here. You see this hose right here? It goes straight into the intake, so I'll remove it from there and then inject the smoke through there, and it goes into the intake. And if there is any leaks, then we're going to find it with the smoke. But one thing you do want to be careful with is that you don't want to remove too many things from the intake system, because if you do, you might miss where the smoke or where the leak is. A lot of times people will like move hoses and stuff like that, and they'll like break them and they'll think that that's where it's leaking from, but it's actually leaking from somewhere else. So there's a lot of things you got to do, but one of the things is you got to be super careful when you remove things, because you don't want to disturb the problem. Let's get to it. I still don't see any smoke, but I do hear something coming from this hose. No, I think it's coming from this hose. In there, you see the smoke there? I think it's this hose that goes to the intake, to the PCV valve. Heck yeah, we find the problem. So this is the hose that's broken. It goes from the intake here to the PCV valve over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove it, and I'll show you guys where it's cut. But this is where it's coming from. Thankfully, we found it. Okay, so this is the hose. You can see here that it's ripped right there. And these PCV valve hoses always get broken just because the oil from the PCV system gets in there. and then it'll eat up the hose and make it weak, and eventually it'll break. So this happens a lot on hoses that go to the PCV valve system. I didn't know this on this juke, so this is all diagnostic from the start to end. The last thing I gotta do is obviously replace this thing, put everything back together, start the car up, erase the codes obviously, start the car up, let it warm up, and then see what the fuel trims do. Before I do that though, before I erase the codes, I'm gonna check the fuel trim to see if they go down by themselves. And if they do, then the problem is definitely fixed. So I'm gonna do that before I erase the check engine light, and then make sure everything looks good on the fuel trim side. And if everything goes back down to 0 or close to 0 in the fuel trims, then we know the problem is fixed. Now I know a lot of this stuff is a little bit advanced, so if you guys are doing this in your backyard and you guys are just doing it because you're not a mechanic but you just want to know what could possibly be wrong with the link condition, this might be too advanced, like fuel trims and then smoke machines and all that stuff. So this is more for like mechanics that are more advanced and that have more of an idea of what it could be. But if you're a backyard mechanic, or you're just somebody that, you know, just you don't know anything about cars, you're just checking this online, just know that there's a lot more that goes into diagnosing a link condition than what I did. Sometimes it could be a lot worse. Sometimes it's the intake or the intercooler that's leaking. So there's a lot of different things. If you don't know what the hell you're doing and this isn't the problem, take it to a mechanic, have them charge you the diagnostic fee so you know exactly how much it costs. I will be doing the diagnostic speech thing right now after I fix this car. I gotta finish this car before I do all that. So let me finish the car, make sure the fuel trims are good, and then I'll come back to you guys and let you guys know exactly how to sell the diagnostic fee. Okay? Okay. But I like seeing it go down like this, because that means that whatever I did fixed it. So there you go. We're at 15 now, and short term is at 12, negative 12, which is a good thing. Everything's going back down to 0, which is what I want. Okay? Alright. So a couple minutes later, it's a 12 long term and negative 7 short term. I'm gonna go ahead and erase the codes and then get it back to 0, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and drive the car and call this one fixed. Everything's good. That fixed the problem. All the fuel trims are going back to normal here, so I am very confident in getting this car back to the customer with a fix. All right, let's go ahead and erase the codes. Clear, erase successful, perfect. Okay. So no more check engine light. Link. No DTCs. Let's go to live data here. Alright, fuel trims are still the same. Negative 9, 12 now. Normally when this happens, it means that you gotta disconnect the battery and then disconnect both cables on the battery, touch them together, drain all the power from the car, then everything go back to 0. But this is going the right direction, so I'm just gonna drive the car and make sure everything's cool, get it back to the customer. So that's basically how you do a check engine light diagnosis on a link condition.